Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to another episode of Over the Line. This is Shahrukh, your host, as usual, here with Hamad, and we've got Shahjahan and Adil back with us for this episode, and as our regular guests on this show going forward. Welcome back, guys.
Good
Thank
to
you
be
so much for
back.
having me.
Great to have you here, and a lot has been happening in the world of football the last 7, 8 days since we've been away. So we've got a lot to catch up on. Hamad, आप क्यों ना हमें राउंड अप करके दें? होता क्या रहा है चैंपियंस लीग के मैचेस में?
बिल्कुल ग्लैड टू बी ऑन द शो। सबसे पहली बात ये थी कि खुशी की बात थी कि चैंपियंस लीग रिज्यूम हो गई। एक पॉइंट पे हमें ये नहीं लग रहा था, बट कुछ सेकंड लेग्स रहते थे, सो विल टॉक अबाउट दैट। मैनचेस्टर सिटी डिफीटेड रियल मैड्रिड 2-1 और एग्रीगेट पे 4-2 पे वो आगे क्वालिफाई करके यूवेंटस 1-2-1, लेकिन इसके बावजूद वो एग्रीगेट पे 2-2 पे अवे गोल पे लियोन जो है वो आगे चला गया था। बार्सिलोना डिफीटेड नेपोली 3-1, एग्रीगेट पे 4-2 पे वो आगे चले गए और बायर्न म्यूनिख ने इजीली 4-1 चेल्सी को हराया और 7-1 पे वो लोग क्वालिफाई कर गए थे। नाउ वी आर कमिंग टू द फन पार्ट। क्वार्टर फाइनल जिस तरह हम लोग देख रहे थे अभी रिसेंटली खत्म हुए हैं। एटलांटा जो है वो बड़ा अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहा था, लेकिन इवेंचुअली पेरिस 1-1 और इसके बाद जो है एथलेटिको लॉस्ट 1-2 हार गए थे लिस्बर्ग से। वो बार्सिलोना जो आज के हमारे मैच की आई थिंक प्रोग्राम की हाईलाइट होगा, बायर्न म्यूनिख डिफीटेड देम 8-2 और जो लेटेस्ट अभी मैच हमारा खत्म हुआ है उसमें लियोन ने अपसेट किया है मैनचेस्टर सिटी को 3-1। सो आई थिंक सबसे पहले हम शाहजहां का हालचाल पूछते हैं।
बहुत 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 अच्छा हाल चाल है, स्पेशली आफ्टर लास्ट नाइट्स विक्ट्री लियोन की। तो मैं ज़्यादा फोकस पूरी करना चाहता हूँ। आई वांट टू फॉरगेट अबाउट द फैक्ट कि जो बार्सा बायर्न का मैच हुआ था, दैट एवर एक्चुअली हैपेंड, मे बी वाज जस्ट अ ड्रीम।
इंटरेस्टिंगली जब रियल मैड्रिड हारा था तो मुझे शाहरुख ने एग्जैक्टली यही बात की थी कि मैं इस मैच को भूल जाना चाहता हूँ कि हम 2-1 हारे थे, लेकिन आई थिंक अब जो है वो शाहरुख उस मैच को भूल चुके हैं और अब इसको याद रखेंगे।
यार वो तो मतलब दैट वाज अ रेगुलेशन डिफीट, राइट? ये 2-1 तो होता ही रहता है, बट फॉर द टीम टू लूज 8-2 यार वो भी बार्सिलोना जैसी टीम, जिस टीम में मेसी, सुआरेज, पीके, बुस्केट्स, मतलब यू नेम इट, वर्ल्ड कप विनर्स, चैंपियंस लीग विनर्स, मल्टीपल लीग टाइटल विनर्स, इस तरह मतलब एम्बैरेस होना, ह्यूमिलिएट होना, डिस्ग्रेस होना लिटरली। मतलब मैं तो यार उसी वक्त जो है ना, if I were Messi or one of those players, मैं तो उधर ही कहीं ग्राउंड के अंदर खोद के ना सर घुसा लेता कि यार भाई सॉरी, माफ कर दे, और मेरे साथ जाती ना करें। बट दैट वाज जस्ट ब्रूटल यार। मतलब I was expecting Bayern to win. I think most of us were expecting them to win, given the way they were playing over the past few months. They were just steamrolling past every single opposition. But that was just completely disastrous, yeah, from Barcelona's perspective. Not completely shocking, but it was utterly disastrous. And you can expect wholesale changes to come. Otherwise, you won't see Messi there much longer.
I think we'll get to that, but उससे पहले हम बाकी सारे ओवरऑल बात कर लें। अब कुछ अपसेट्स हुए हैं, जिस तरह कल ब्रा सिटी का जो अपसेट हुआ है, उससे पहले यूवेंटस का बाहर जाना अपसेट था। So I think let's talk about the big names going out.
I mean, if you look at the way Leon has played against Juventus and Man City, it's upset to tha, obviously, because, you know, Leon would, I think, finished 7th to
Yes.
France League 1 jo thi. But other than that, the way they play, they have a template, they know the limitations, and they stick to that. And वो counter पर अच्छे हैं, वो बहुत अच्छी तरह grilled हैं. The midfield is dynamic उस तरीके से, they have a lot of energy. And Juventus and Man City, look at both teams, they weren't able to really create a lot of chances. Ronaldo scored a wonder goal, and then दो penalties दोनों sides को मिली थी, which were obviously debatable. And even Man City had probably 3-4 clear chances. That's about it. So it was a surprising result, but then again, the onus was on Man City and Juventus to play better, and they did not. So I think it was more that those teams lacked rather than what Leon did, ended up with a master stroke of any kind of tactics or strategy. They played to their strengths. That's pretty much it. The onus was on the other teams to attack and create chances, and which they failed to do.
Hi guys. First of all, thank you for having me again. The quarterfinal round of the Champions League was a bit surprising for me personally, at least, when I saw the likes of Man City and Atletico Madrid, get kicked out by Leipzig, and as well as Lyon. Because at the end of the day, when Pep Guardiola's Man City, took out Real Madrid over the course of 2 legs, home and away, it was more or less expected that Lyon would not be the kind of opposition that could cause this upset. However, personally, what I saw from that match was, okay, massive credit to Lyon for the way they played, the way they delivered, the way they scored the goals. But I do not understand why Pep Guardiola needs to make such massive changes to his Champions League squad when he knows, when there's the proper formula of football that he's played throughout the season, and it has given him good results. 4-3-3, back four flat, three midfield, Rodrigo, Gundogan, and De Bruyne. Played three up front, Sterling, Jesus, and Mahrez. I do not know why he chose three at the back last night. I have no clue why they were playing such a high line against absolute pacey forwards, such as Dembele, Depay, even the wing backs in Cornet. They're so fast. You're playing such a high line. They will counter you. They will leave you open. And I swear, one thing that I've always believed, and I do respect him a lot, but I love the fact that Kyle Walker was found out that he is, at the end of the day, Aaron Lennon at right back. That is all he is. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be derogatory here, but I swear it was just shocking for me to see that Riyad Mahrez was such a creative outlet. He has performed every time, and he's not even starting in your team. You're playing three at the back. I genuinely, there's a lot to be said about last night's game, but honestly, I totally feel that Pep Guardiola has to be held responsible for what happened.
Absolutely, I agree. इसमें कोई शक ही नहीं है. I think people keep absolving him of blame. Even last night, I was reading a tweet by Guillem Balag, who's a very famous Spanish journalist and a huge Barcelona fan. और वो कह रहे कि यार हाँ आप मतलब सिटी की ओवरऑल गेम को देखो, रिजल्ट को ना देखो. अगर स्टर्लिंग वो इक्वलाइजर कर लेता, अगर एडरसन मिस्टेक, that's part of football, right? These mistakes happen. You're forgetting the point that Lyon were actually leading the game, or at least drawing in the game for 70 minutes, right? Where do the tactics go? Where does his game management go during all that time? And like Shah Jahan said, this is a team that finished 7th in the French league. They haven't played football in 5 months yet. So, I mean, it's inexcusable. You spend €1 billion on assembling a superstar squad. You cannot make any excuses whatsoever for that result. Guardiola has to be held responsible. And this goes back. I mean, we keep saying, I at least keep saying that he's very rigid in his tactics. He doesn't cater to the opposition, especially domestically. He's got a set gameplay in mind. Passing movement, continuous, going down the byline, cutting back for the creative players. But if you look back over the past 4 years in the Champions League, Spurs ke khilaf, he was too defensive in the first leg. Liverpool ke khilaf, he kept packing the midfield. Go back further when he was at Bayern, and he tried to man mark against Barcelona team, which had Messi, Suarez, and Neymar in their prime, and they got hammered. Then against counter-attacking Madrid team, he went on an all-out attack, right? And that was a treble-winning Bayern team, which got hammered at home 4-0, which Guardiola says is his worst ever defeat as a manager. So, I mean, you can't escape criticism for that. As great a coach as he is, he has to take responsibility for this.
Definitely.
So before we move to the 8-2, PSG के मतलब सबका क्या ख्याल है, कैसा रहा वो मैच, क्या चांसेस नजर आ रहे हैं? बिकॉज कॉमन सब ये कह रहे हैं कि PSG वर्सेस बायर्न का फाइनल होगा.
Well, PSG, I honestly I am not confident in PSG, being able to win the Champions League. That's just my view. Why? I mean, if I go back to the last game they won against Atalanta, every time they made a chance, it was through Neymar. Neymar getting that ball on the left flank to Sarabia putting in a cross that reaches nowhere. Mauro Icardi out of position throughout the entire game. If you're going to rely on one player to win you the Champions League, and if that guy does, credit to him to be exceptionally, which Neymar is, no doubt in Neymar's ability as a footballer. But I have yet to see a football player win the Champions League. I think teams win Champions League, and that is going to at one point, going to come forward.
But Adil, आप एक चीज miss कर रहे हो यार. PSG actually started attacking once Mbappe came on the field after the 60th minute.
No,
They
no,
had more than twice as many attacks and shots on target in the last half after Mbappe came on, which is the last 30 minutes. And that's when they actually obviously equalized and went on to score the winner as well. So he adds an entire new dimension to their attacking play, right?
No.
And Mbappe on one wing, Neymar on the other. बीच में आपका चाहे Sarabia हो, Maro Icardi हो, yeah, I don't care, put Lucas Silva in there, yeah. Anyone will be ending up scoring goals with those two on the flank.
And like Adil pointed out, the midfield is where I have my concerns. Because Atlanta के खिलाफ भी देखें, you saw in the first half how deep Neymar had to come to collect the ball. You know, had to dribble past a lot of players, and obviously, Bachara, he didn't have his shooting boots on in that particular match because he missed some big.
I think that was Higuain in disguise, actually.
Without the weight. But Mbappe, like Shahrukh pointed out, Mbappe aa gaya tha, he had that link-up play as well. So hopefully, if they, I'm not sure what they'll do. They will probably have to tinker with their midfield. I think Paredes एक उनका midfielder है who can come in because Herrera and Gage जो हैं, I mean they're good footballers, but they don't have the quality on the ball इतनी ज़्यादा. So they won't be able to find that crucial pass to Neymar or to Mbappe or to Sarabia or to Icardi जो भी है खेल रहे. So that's something that they'll have to figure out and see.
So 2 German teams against 2 French teams. This is going to be a very interesting battle.
Talking about Spanish teams, Shahjahan, क्या हुआ यार?
Yeah, I know this might be a little controversial. Like, and I still believe that it wasn't as if Bayern played excellent football. They played good football, but any other quality team होती वो first half के अंदर ही 2-3 goals score कर देती. I mean they play a very high line. The midfield they have solid midfield players. Lekin it was just too easy. I think it doesn't 8-2 kind of flatters Bayern, but it does do justice to the way Barca was playing. And I know it's a little contradictory what I'm saying, but Barca was extremely poor. I swear to God, I think I brought this up. I texted you guys, I think, during the match. Shrewsbury Town played against Liverpool League Cup ke andar, about 6 months ago. I swear to God, they played much better. More attacking and defensively stronger than what Barca was playing. It was ridiculous what they were doing. Ter Stegen is considered as he's regarded as one of the best goalkeepers around the world, and specifically when it comes to passing, he's along with Edison, he probably has the best passing accuracy and vision. And I think he gave the ball away 15 times. I mean 4-5 times directly to the Bayern player, and baki times he was giving it to defenders or midfield players who were under immense pressure. And they kept doing it. They kept doing it. It was, and आप देख रहे हैं, you're like, it's going to change, up change करेंगे. And I know they don't have a plan B उस league से, they can't like lock the ball to Messi or Suarez. बेचारे मेसी की इतनी स्ट्रेंथ तो नहीं है कि वो बॉल आपका लॉन्ग बॉल कर सके, एंड Suarez doesn't have the legs anymore. I know Shahrukh mentioned at the start world class players and Champions League players, लेकिन this has been you could see this coming. पिछले 5 साल आप देखें हर साल they have performed worse and worse. ठीक है, एटलेटिको मैड्रिड के खिलाफ था 3-2 I think aggregate था, they couldn't score in the second leg. Roma के खिलाफ again 3-0 था. Liverpool के खिलाफ completely capitulated in the second leg, and this was even more horrendous. So it's something that has been, you could see this happening, and सारा onus Messi के ऊपर है and even the previews before the match, it was all Bayern is going to win unless Messi comes up with something. And you can't rely on that one player to, and especially when it comes to इस stage पर in quality teams के साथ खिला रहे हैं, you cannot just depend कि अच्छा मेसी एक थ्रू बॉल निकाल देगा या मेसी एक क्रॉस निकाल देगा, मेसी ड्रिबल कर लेगा तो गोल हो जाएगा, वरना बस ठीक है. I think De Jong was the only player who you could see that was trying to do something, and there were so many instances where he was surrounded by 3 players and उसके पाँव पर आप बॉल बार-बार दे रहे हो, and no outlet, no one wanted the ball उस तरीके से. Ansu Fati came later on and you could see कि वो byline पर जा रहा है, कोई इर्द-गिर्द नहीं है. ठीक है, that time the match was more or less gone, but फिर भी it's a team that is completely broken. I think spirits जो हैं बेचारी completely capitulate इतनी दफा हो गई है कि अब you need an overhaul, not just because of the fact that they're getting older, but also because I think mentally बेचारे खत्म हो गए.
Honestly, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Shahjahan, but I think there's a lot to be said for the way Barcelona have been playing over the last 3 years. You mentioned the games the defeat against Roma, then Liverpool, and now Bayern. And I agree that it's been coming. But look
I
at
just
the
want to
way,
add the defeats against PSG and Juventus as well,
for
4-0,
sure.
3-0, and a 7-0 aggregate win that Bayern had against them as well a few years ago. So
Exactly.
yeah.
So
वो
it
तो
has no, definitely, but it has been coming. Look at the way you spend 100 million, 140 million for Philippe Coutinho. You bring him on. You bring an attacking midfielder, world class attacking midfielder from Liverpool. You play him on the left wing. You then loan him out, and then he comes on against you and embarrasses you. How is that? How does that show stability at your club? You buy. Let's be very clear. Antoine Griezmann before
Griezmann, yeah.
before coming to Barcelona, for me and for I imagine a vast majority, was a top 5 player in the world. Phenomenal
World class, yeah. Yeah.
world class footballer as a number 10, as a number 9. You put him on the left flank because Messi's best friend Luis
Messi को
Suarez
नहीं.
has to play
Yeah.
number 9. That needs to stop. You bring in these managers such as Setien, you bring in these guys, they it's literally I did not believe that Messi and his friends were going to play football for Barcelona, but that's how it is. Why?
That's why
What
Arturo
has
Vidal is in the team as well, because he's best friends with
Arturo
Messi.
Arturo Vidal on the right flank is the scariest sight in football I have ever seen. He cannot run for his life.
और Arturo Vidal जो है फिर बातें इस तरह की करते हैं कि बंदा फिर हंसता है कि यार आप किस दुनिया में है. ठीक है, आप क्या जो है क्या आप किसी ड्रग्स पे हैं या what are you on? And this isn't the first time that Vidal has said something like this. I remember a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, when Bayern faced Madrid in the semi-final, इसी तरह की बातें तब भी कर रहा था ये. And yeah, ended up eating humble pie after humble pie after humble pie.
Just to very small conclusion, a long time ago, rumors were starting to come out that Messi does decide the starting lineup, the football that's being played at Barcelona. I don't know. It's very hard for me to believe because there's no, factual proof that, that decides this. But I do not see what Sergio Busquets offers in midfield. I do not see Luis Suarez being what Luis Suarez was at 3 years ago. And I definitely feel that this needs to stop. Someone needs to come in and change this Barcelona side going forward. Else, it's the same. You buy players worth Dembele 120, Coutinho 140, Griezmann 120, and
neither of them start.
Neither of them start. One plays on the wing and the other embarrasses you. Yeah,
they are scoring goal just for the other side. Itna farak hai.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, by the way, if Bayern win the Champions League, Barcelona will have to pay Liverpool £5 million.
Cherry on the top.
What is this? What is this?
So basically उससे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में था कि अगर वो चैंपियंस लीग जीते तो लिवरपूल को बोनस मिलेगा, लेकिन ये लिखा था कि किसके साथ जीते. All right, guys. So I think we've discussed enough about the quarterfinals and the upcoming semi-finals as well. Why not look at some upcoming transfers that are taking place and that have already taken place, और आगे क्या projected है transfer market में? So Shahjahan, Adil, what are your views?
Well, in terms of transfer news, during these months, a lot of rumors do flood our timelines on our social media accounts. One such rumor comes from the Serie A, as it's being very strongly rumored that Sergio Tonali is about to sign for Inter Milan, a proper holding midfielder of the Italian nationality that could really boost Conte's side. However, there was also a rumor that Tanguy Ndombele might be headed to Inter. So that leaves us, thinking what might happen in that end. As far as confirmed transfers go, one of the most interesting deals that I've recently seen is are that of Edison Cavani and Jan Vertonghen both signing for Benfica. So that makes for a fun FIFA team, to say the least. If we come to the Premier League side, there is Soufiane Boussali recently just broke the news of Thiago agreeing terms with Liverpool. So that is exciting news for Liverpool fans. And there are also rumors of Chelsea about to finalize deals for homegrown talent in Ben Chilwell, who's a left back, and Declan Rice, who's a centre back and a defensive midfielder, for over £140 million. So big signings in the Premier League, for sure.
And speaking about Chelsea, they're also linked with Lewis Dunk, who's a centre back from Brighton, for about 40 million. I'm not sure, like Adil mentioned, that they're already linked with Declan Rice as well. So I'm not sure if this is going to go through. I think personally, Dunk is a great centre back, along with Travoski, जो Burnley के लिए खेलता है. I think it's surprising that no other team has gone for them. And again, speaking about Chelsea, they've also finally released Willian. Willian has gone on a free to Arsenal. So this means that Arsenal has officially become a retirement home for Chelsea players, following Cech and David Luiz.
Fabregas.
And Fabregas as well. लेकिन वो दूसरी साइड पर हो गया था. But और जो है, since the past last time that we all met up, so Man City have confirmed the signing of Ake for 40 million, who's a decent, solid centre back, something that they definitely needed last night, as well as Ferran Torres,
Ferran Torres,
someone, yeah,
great potential,
familiar with him,
great potential player,
and a bargain.
Yeah, Valencia ने तो बहुत जाती की है. अच्छा, Valencia I particularly have a bone to pick with them because जब भी Madrid जाता है उनके पास कोई प्लेयर लेने के लिए तो वो आगे से ऐसे छाती बाहर निकाल के जो कहते हैं कि no way, just get lost, and they just sold their entire midfield. The captain Danny Parejo and Francis Coquelin, two of their best midfielders, have been sold to Villarreal. And Ferran Torres,
13,
probably
million.
Yeah, for like 15-20 million. Ferran Torres, probably the highest potential young Spanish player, starlet, Spain future, and he's gone for 25 million to City. Yeah. Plus, Villarreal have also gotten Take Kubo, the Madrid loanee. So they've got three excellent midfielders, and they're going to be a team to watch next season in La Liga. Uske alawa, if you look at the Sevilla team, who were facing United in the Europa League semi-finals, Diego Carlos and Julius Koundé, those centre backs, great centre backs, excellent players. Diego Carlos is being linked with Liverpool as well, I think, and even with City, I'm not so sure. And Koundé is someone that Zidane has his eye on.
Very young.
So French very young French defender. Yeah. So a lot of potential movements taking place there as well. But I don't think there'll be a lot of transfers taking place with the big clubs in Spain because of the financial hits that they've taken due to COVID. Plus, the Spanish league doesn't have sugar daddies in Saudi Arabia and Qatar and the UAE to bankroll them. So yeah, that's great. I think we will wrap up this transfer news for today's episode because we'll have a lot more going on in the future as well. Let's move on to our final segment for today's show. Right, so guys, the final segment of today's episode is our moment of the week. And for that, I think everyone's unanimous choice was, or Shah Jahan is actually shaking his head. He's not part of this. But I think I speak for the majority when I say that the Canadian teenager, Alphonso Davies, the way he just sort of shackled and left the entire Barca team stunned with his dazzling run and his passing movement through the Barca defense to set up Joshua Kimmich for that fifth goal was absolutely astounding. As you can see on the screen here, he just left Nelson Semedo for dead right there. It was just a schoolboy sort of stuff by the Barca defense. And Piqué just backing off, letting the play right through to the final 6-yard box, where Kimmich just had to tap the ball. And it was actually just, like Kimmich said, it was actually embarrassing for him to score that goal and claim that goal for himself because it was all Alphonso Davies. And even Marcelo, I think, tweeted afterwards that Alphonso actually brings tears of joy to his eyes the way he plays, and it's actually a pleasure to watch him play. So finally, in our last segment in this episode, we would like to ask you guys to write in to us. Let us know who you think will win the Champions League this year. Is it going to be PSG? Is it going to be the firm favorites Bayern Munich? Or will there be another couple of upsets in the making and we have a new champion? There's a high chance of a new champion being crowned as well in this year's edition. So great to have you guys on board in this week's episode. Hope to see you soon again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks.
In European competition over the years,